Gesundheit.
If she doesn't get here on time, she's gonna be late. I told her. 11 a.m. or it's all over.
Is that the brother, Chief?
Yeah, that's the brother. Nick the Greek Karmos. 2 years Borstal, 3 years Parkhurst.
They say he did it in that Billy Haldane skit with a hatchet.
The original psychopath. It's all in his form. I nicked him in 73 for sweating witnesses. Nasty. Nasty boy.
Go down, did he?
No. Bleeding not guilty, wasn't it?
Oh, and this Johnny is Michael Ryan. He was in business with your father in Liverpool.
Michael?
Johnny, this is an important day. Can we talk later?
Sure, of course we can. Thank you, Michael.
Hey, Johnny. How you doing, son? I couldn't let you get hitched without coming down the motorway to dance at your wedding.
Nick, this is the famous Willie Mocklin. He worked for Dad in the 60s.
And the minicab wars. Willie here was my brother's general at that time.
I was hardly a general, Aristotle. I was merely the man with the sharpest blade. And this is young Nick, eh? Come here, let me see you, son. Ah, you look great. You know, you were just a wee smout the last time I saw you.
That's Willie Mocklin. Last of the cheeky 40. Big Glasgow gang in the 30s.
Thank you, Willie. Aphorista.
Ah, paragalo, Johnny. Yeah, listen. This is a very wise move you've made. Joining two great families together. Let no man put asunder, all right?
Ever nick him, boss?
Yeah, I tried to. But he slashed me across me palm with his bleeding razor, didn't he? 20 stitches. Right down my lifeline. Any other day, and I'll get sick.
Never mind, Chief. Tomorrow's Sunday. Here she comes.
About bleeding time.
You are, Gov. He wasn't too pleased on a Saturday morning.
John, you have come together in this church so that the Lord may seal and strengthen your love. Here, for the church's minister and this community. He abundantly blesses your love. Christ has already consecrated you in baptism, and now...
Excuse me. Are you John Agamemnon Fitzpatrick Karmos?
You really have a great sense of timing, Sergeant. Super cool.
Oh, you know me, Johnny. Nothing if not ubiquitous. I've a warrant here for your arrest.
Good heavens, man, this is the house of God. I'm conducting a wedding. This is a holy sacrament.
That's as may be, Father. For this man is a wanted criminal. Let's go, sport.
Nick! Nick! Let me have a dog out. Nick!
All aboard the Skylark, Johnny?
What's the percentage in this view, Pullman? You know I'll be out on bail first thing Monday.
In the motor, you're bleeding nicked.
Hey, Mr. Pullman. Come on. How about giving the man a break? Why don't you nick him after the wedding?
But old Lang Syne, eh, will he? Get stuffed. You, in.
You, back off.
This isn't very clever, Johnny.
Frankie, get in the motor.
Frank, this is a mug's game.
Get in. Johnny? Johnny!
Chum, you're Nick. Get.
If he had croaked, they'd have thrown the body out, right?
The line's jammed with villains briefs from Aberdeen to Llandudno. David, we can't hold 20 wedding guests much longer. It's the weekend. What are we going to feed them on?
Let them eat cake, sir. It's Sergeant Pullman I'm worried about.
CID room. Evening paper.
Singer. Yes? What time? Did you get it on tape? Oh. All right, doesn't matter. We'll send an officer around later. Thanks. Male voice, Southern, phone the news 1403. 6 minutes ago. Messages release Johnny Carmus by 5 p.m. or the copper gets it. They also want a flight to the Irish Republic and 5,000 quid in cash.
Well, at least he's still alive.
Willis, you know these monkeys. How much can we negotiate with them?
Not much, sir. Nick Carmus is a nutter, like signed and sealed by the chief medic at Parkhurst.
Psycho?
Completely doolally, as we say up here.
Terrific. Right, well, what's been done so far?
Well, Commander CID's in Wales for the weekend, so we're trying to trace him. We put a 501 out on the Granada, but it hasn't been seen. Motorway police are waiting for it to pass, but it hasn't yet.
Well, they changed cars, won't they?
You're right. Get uniform to search every garage, lock-up, alley, any place the Granada could be hidden or abandoned. At least we know how much blood he's lost.
Yes, sir, I believe we're doing that already.
Set up a special ops room. Use the spare room next to mine. Have a line set up with intercept and trace. Speak to the post office.
Yes, sir, we've spoken to the post office. We thought this room would do.
Helicopters!
Sir?
Helicopters. I need a couple of helicopters. High-altitude surveillance. I've done the course last year.
Oh, well, you'll know who to get in touch with then, won't you, sir? Derek, Vanessa.
Yes, Governor.
Start on the wedding guests. The interview group should have got their statements by now.
Right.
Just a minute. Let's get the chain of command quite clear, shall we?
Sir?
In the absence of Commander CID, I am Senior CID Officer on duty, and therefore I am in command of this operation. The negotiations will be conducted by me. I want all detained wedding guests interviewed and released by 1600 hours. I don't want a scandal on my hands. You, Sergeant Singer, will coordinate this operation under my command.
Right then, let's get on with it.
Come on, copper. It ain't that bad.
I could do with a wet.
Yeah, me too. Look, Nick's due back with some food and stuff.
What's the plan? trade me in for Johnny?
Yeah, something like that.
You were pissed, weren't you, when you joined this caper? Been on the booze, right?
So what? We're here, ain't we, copper? And that's all you've got to worry about.
Nick's crazy, Frank. He's psychotic. We could say that you just came along to humour him. Now that he's out of the way for a bit, you just untie me. You might even end up a hero. I mean, I bet the two families aren't exactly over the moon about this.
Shut your mouth.
Right, Johnny. I've got your file here and all about you. You were arrested today and you're going to be charged with conspiracy to commit armed robbery, providing the London team for that Liverpool armoured truck job last November. Now, that charge will go ahead once this business is sorted out. Where's Nick taken, Detective Sergeant Bullman?
You tell me, Squire. I don't know this area, neither does he.
He's really put the ferret in the chicken run, hasn't he? You'd have been out on bail by Monday. Were both the shooters loaded, Johnny?
Were both the guns loaded, Mr. Ryan?
Search me, darling.
Oh, we intend to.
Has your boy Frank access to any other weapons, Joe?
We're not all that close. You know families.
You must be brassed off. Daughter's wedding and all. What the hell are you lot playing at?
I'd like my lawyer now.
Yeah, well, he's still being interviewed downstairs. Who would Frankie run to, Joe? Where would he go?
How did you find this place? Frank, you're in dead trouble, son.
Oh, you know, you're beginning to sound just like my bleeding old man.
Got a bit of a hangover, have we? Oh, look, I know this may sound a bit daft, but would you put my gloves in my coat pocket? I sort of feel lost without them.
Detective Sergeant George Bullman, eh?
Yeah.
Well, Detective Sergeant, hoist this in. Nick wants to top you. He's got a new Smith & Wesson 9mm and he's like a kid with a new toy.
Yeah, I noticed.
Do you know what his favourite film is?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Clockwork Orange.
I'm more of a Walt Disney man myself.
Dead trouble now, Mr. Karmas. The newspaper's got a phone call. They're going to murder D.S. Bullman at 5 o'clock. You know what my chief wants, Mr. Rainbow? Charge them all, he says. Charge them all with accessory to kidnapping and conspiracy to impede the police in the execution of their duties. Now, Mr. Rainbow's a second Judge Jeffries, Harry. He particularly wants you to be charged with the full calendar. Doesn't care how long I keep you.
Listen, filth. Get me my lawyer. Your Detective Bullman is beyond my help.
Right. Let's get down to basics, old man. You are a retired, a semi-retired and highly respected villain. Withdraw your approval for Nick's actions and suggest we all work together. Just this time. For a dead copper's going to make life very difficult for both firms, Karmos and Revel. That I can promise you. The brothels, massage parlours, taxi companies, gaming rooms, we'll put you out of business. And you know I mean it.
This is personal with you, I think.
It is indeed, old man. So I'm offering you a choice. Cooperate or go under. Who needs a vendetta with the law?
In Greek, we have a saying, roughly translated, it means, go stick your head in the kazi.
Oh, that's really nice, Aristotle. Now, here's a saying that we have.
We found the motor in a lockup. Blood on the back seat, one spent shell from a 9mm. We sent the heavy mob down. Team-handed for a surveillance and snatch job.
They'll never come back for the motor.
If Nick's a nutter, he might just chance it.
Aren't we clutching at straws, Chief?
Between you and me, I think George Bullman's run out of luck.
I would ask you to cooperate with us in this respect. Play it down. Give me a chance to get my officer freed. He's badly wounded. Needs urgent help.
Have you any reason to believe he might already be dead?
No, I don't think so. I think they would have dumped a dead person.
But you have no evidence that the officer is still alive?
No.
Can you comment on the fact that this situation arose as a result of the kidnapped detective bursting in on a wedding ceremony and manhandling the kidnapper's brother out of the church?
On the record, no comment. Off the record, please don't quote me. It may be that my officer was less than tactful about the timing and location of the arrest attempt.
Fine, I'll straight away. Try to get the other one in just the same way, can we? Okay.
Sarge, we've got a call from a public call box asking for a senior CID officer. Post office need about 3 minutes to locate it.
Detective Sergeant Singer, can I help?
You know who this is. You got my message? The copper dies at 5 o'clock.
Who is this?
Don't act a madam. I've already put one in him.
Are you Nick?
I want my brother on a plane for Dublin by 5, or the techs are gonna.
Listen, Nick, we're gonna have to organise that sort of transport. The snow's making things difficult. They could close the airport. It's gonna take time.
All right then. 6 o'clock, but it's final.
Nick.
The call box was in Greenford Road. We had 4 cars out there within 2 minutes. Naturally, there was no one there.
Sergeant, what did I say at the outset of this operation?
That you'd been on a helicopter course.
I said, Sergeant, that all negotiations would be conducted by me.
With respect, sir, you were having a press conference.
I find your attitude offensive. It's like the unit you run. It's slack, elitist, arrogant, and inefficient.
With the greatest possible respect, Mr. Rainbow, I think you should withdraw that.
How can you defend these interlopers? What have they done for us? What have they contributed, hey? Tell me, Sergeant. Nothing. Nothing but bloody trouble. And now this. Bullman gets himself shot and kidnapped. It's all I need. Sergeant?
Right, chum. Pin your ears back.
May I remind you...
You remind me of nothing so much as a wet blouse, sir.
Sergeant, have you gone mad?
Yes, I must have. To have stood aside and watched... No, contributed to subjecting these officers to a campaign of pettiness, vindictiveness, and outright jealousy. And now George Bullman is at the tender mercy of some twisted psychopath from the south of London. And all you can do is argue about where to have an ops room and give press conferences that mean sod all! And not a word about how he is. Until the phone rings, and then you say, like some poor kid, I want to handle the negotiations. Me. I've done the course. Well, with respect, I find the whole thing disgusting. I want nothing more to do with it.
Sergeant Singer! Eric? Ah, Chief Constable.
What's the news on Sergeant Bullman?
Who is it?
Open up, you bird.